Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Welcome to a historic launch. Um, so currently we have SpaceX testing, static firing their Falcon Heavy at 39. And at pad 40 of the Cape Canaveral Space Force Station, we have the massive Atlas V rocket launch. What's on the rocket today? That's going to be some Kuiper satellites from Amazon. I think it's interesting that they haven't distinguished this from Blue Origin, or that they have distinguished it from Blue Origin since it's the same company, essentially. So this is a copycat of the Starlink satellite network. This is Bezos and Amazon trying to keep up. They're very far behind. Why are they so damn far behind? Well, one of the things that they wanted to do, the Vulcan rocket, which is a Blue Origin product, which is the love child of Jeff Bezos and the Amazon company, that still has not even been stacked or tested. The Vulcan rocket's a massive rocket, not as big as the New Glenn, but it was supposed to be one of the flagship vehicles, much like the SpaceX Falcon 9. And the New Glenn was supposed to be their heavy lift rocket, much to the way that Starship is. Amazon has not completed either project to this date. I know we're all shocked. So instead, doing the heavy lifting today, both literally and figuratively, we have United Launch Alliance. United Launch Alliance is Lockheed Martin, Boeing, the good old boys of defense contractors. That's kind of their mission today, is to get Amazon's first batch of their constellation satellites to low Earth orbit. These will be communication in low Earth orbit satellites for remote area locations, much in the way that the Starlink program is for SpaceX. So we're going to take a little look at some promo videos from Amazon. We'll take a look at the Project Kuiper mission, and then we will get into the actual vehicle doing the lift. We are T-minus 27 minutes and 45 seconds, so we should be right on time for a good launch. Something interesting that of note of ULA, they have various built-in holds. The first hold was extended an additional 5 minutes. So that's why we're at 2:05 instead of the regular 1400 hours that it was supposed to launch at EST. It is fully fueled. I'm staring at it. So we should be a go. Everything I'm hearing is go so far. If that changes, I will certainly let you know. So let's say hello and we'll get right into it. Hello, Dog Mama. Sage, hello. Scad. Scad is our reporter on the ground. Just doesn't know it yet. It says great weather, or it said great weather earlier. So we should be good on that. Hey, Digger. Happy Friday. AP, what's up, buddy? What's up, Alex? Yeah, YouTube screwing me every which way but sideways. And they'll get to that as soon as they figure it out. The weather's still amazing. Perfect. Saw some low-level clouds on the radar, but nothing that should interrupt a rocket of this stature. So, yes, this is another large Phallus launch. What's up, Beers? How you doing, buddy? Good to see you. Give me one moment. Sorry. Okay, so we're about 5 minutes from another 15-minute hold. So again, these are not terribly uncommon. It's the way that they do it. But there will be a hold, and it should last for about 15 minutes, and that's about 5 to 6 minutes from now. So potentially. I have not seen a single thing after the original reporting. I know that they've cut off all comms. They're not allowing any news reports out and really kind of just shutting down the country. So it's not, you know. So, yeah, I mean, seems about right. Seems about right. They're so ridiculous. It's ridiculous. But so let's start. This is the people of Kuiper. Of course, it's Amazon, so we're gonna have wokeness and all that good stuff. But these are the people of Kuiper. There are 2 promotional videos that Amazon has put out for the project. So we'll go through both of those, and it should answer a couple questions at least. So we'll get started.
I've had the opportunity to visit many different communities that have all the amenities in the world that you can think of, and communities that don't. And when you come across communities that don't, you kind of go, what can I do to help? If you build a global network, if you provide global service, you can start to bring people closer, get them more information, impact their lives in a positive way. That's why I'm here on Kuiper.
What Amazon is committed to do with the $10 billion board commitment to build the constellation and the commercial communication network they want to build in space with the 3,236 satellites will bring broadband to any point of the planet.
We're all...
So if you didn't catch that, they got $10 billion to build 3,276 satellites. Appreciate you, buddy. It's around 3,800 satellites, give or take, after they replacing constellations, ones that will get destroyed or out of place or whatever the case may be. 10 billion with a B dollars. Most of that money is actually coming from the United States government, as well as other world governments to provide this network. So, tax dollars, yay!
Depending on connectivity to go to school, to perform our jobs, but not everybody has it, including people in communities just around the corner from us.
If there's no cellular phone infrastructure, Kuiper can provide a connection to, let's say, an ambulance that's transporting somebody with a severe medical condition and keep that ambulance and the doctor connected to someone at the hospital.
We can enable tens of millions of people to have internet that couldn't have it before. And that, to me, is a big deal.
There's very few initiatives I can think about that has such a major impact in a global scale.
Now is the time to bridge the digital divide. As we've seen throughout the course of the pandemic, people's lives were changed radically. But the difference in how those lives changed, the way people were able to mitigate those impacts, it just looked vastly different for those who had connectivity and those who didn't.
People are very motivated to make this grand system become a reality. I mean, come to fruition.
You know, when I do things in terms of career, I wanted it to be meaningful, not just earn a paycheck, but do something that is going to change the world.
People are very inspired by the mission of Kuiper and the innovation of create technology that hasn't been created yet and be able to do it in mass.
It's rare in your career that you have an opportunity to work on a business that is both good for society and is also a very good business. And the reality is that Kuiper is both of those things.
A lot of the culture is a result of having a number of people leading this organization that I consider to be not just sensational technologists and leaders, but also really high ethics.
I'm super excited as we move forward in how we will hire new leaders and teammates who will help us build out all the pieces that we will need to be able to operate as a global service.
Kuiper is full of a lot of talented individuals trying to do a really good job. And I really enjoy working with people and help them become better players.
We want you to be really quite brave, and we're looking for some bit of crazy initiative.
I'm thinking about who I want and the type of people that I want on my team. To be quite blunt, I'm looking for rock stars.
It is ambitious. It's a complex and difficult program to actually deliver on.
And the fact that we get to see all the phases of development from startup to interim, what I call kind of escape velocity, to kind of process-oriented development is amazing.
This is a really important job, but it's also going to be the most amazing thing we've ever accomplished, and it's going to be worth all the hard work.
I'd love to take all the credit for Kuiper, but I'd be foolish. Kuiper is because of the team we have.
All right, so that is Amazon's lovely intro video. So now we're gonna learn a little bit. Well, you know what? Let's go this way. We're gonna look at the mission profile, then we'll look at the Amazon breakdown, their other promo video. So.
Generating 860,000 pounds of thrust, the RD-180 engine ignites to lift the rocket away from the pad. Shortly after,
and we're in that hole.
Atlas begins a pitch over to attain the proper flight path while minimizing the dynamic pressure the rocket experiences during flight.
Oh, no worries.
In the first minute and a half
How you doing,
of flight,
Sage?
Atlas V reaches Mach 1, the speed of sound.
You have 20 minutes.
The Protoflight spacecraft, KuiperSat-1 and KuiperSat-2, are encapsulated inside a 5-meter diameter payload fairing, which is a sandwich composite structure made with a vented aluminum honeycomb core and graphite epoxy face sheets. At approximately 3.5 minutes, the mighty Atlas crosses the Kármán line and enters space. Once the rocket has climbed above Earth's atmosphere, the payload fairing is jettisoned. As Atlas approaches the end of first stage flight, the rocket has already reached a LEO altitude under the power of the first stage booster. With the majority of propellant expended, the main engine shuts down, followed by release of the booster stage. The rocket now weighs a little more than 7% of what it did at liftoff.
This is slightly bigger or better animations than India's.
To reach orbit.
Slightly.
KuiperSat-1 and KuiperSat-2 are prototype satellites for Amazon's Project Kuiper, a low Earth orbit satellite network that will provide fast, affordable broadband to unserved and underserved communities around the world.
So it's all about DEI as normal. Nobody shocked by that. All right, so let's look at. So this is an Atlas V spec sheet from Lockheed Martin. So this is your payload fairing, this top portion. I need like a telestrator. Maybe I'll try and figure that out. So I can draw on things. So this is your payload fairing. Like I said, about 3.5 minutes into flight, this will separate, exposing the payload to the vacuum of space. It's not a very full payload, so it will look just like this. There's quite a damper for all the vibration and sound. Then we have our vacuum optimized engine, which is the RL-10 Centaur. It's hella reliable, and this is a Hydrolox, if I'm not mistaken. I'd like to look at that, but I've never looked at it. So it should be hydrogen oxygen for that upper stage there, and that's going to be the stage that gets the orbit circularized and all that good stuff. This 12, this thing right here is what we call an inner stage in the industry. Just a fancy name to connect the bottom first stage to the payload stage. And it protects that engine, that upper stage engine, through the flight. Then we have our 2 tanks. So our top tank is going to be the RP-1. I'm going to make sure. Oh no, they put locks on top. That's weird. Anyways, you normally keep it down there for your engine chill ops. But they might chill with nitrogen. Anyways, getting way away from the ball here. So this is all liquid oxygen, and you're in your ISO grid. So these are just pressurized tanks that contain, the top one contains liquid oxygen. The bottom one contains rocket grade kerosene, or RP-1. And this is going to be your main engine down here at the very bottom. And that's the RD-180, the booster engine or main engine. This also has configuration for different numbers of solid rocket boosters, or SRBs. So the solid rocket boosters have a solid propellant. You can see from this cutaway, they have a kind of a valley so that the propellant can burn evenly and create kind of a thrust cone. So that's cool. And the strap-on boosters will be configured, I believe they're 1 to 5. So they can put anywhere from 1 to 5, which makes it an uneven and just weird. So weird way of doing things. But so here's kind of an exploded view of the same thing without the cutaway. So we have that bulkhead RL-10. There's our inner stage payload fairing. The Centaur upper stage, this upper stage of the spacecraft, is incredibly reliable. Probably the best thing that any of these companies have ever built, to be honest. 99 flights. Today, I believe, is 100, or today is 99. It looks like this is 100 today for the Centaur. And again, we have a very basic booster. We have a pretty powerful RD-180 engine, but nothing really special there. They're again burning RP-1 and liquid oxygen, so rocket grade kerosene and liquid oxygen, pure liquid oxygen. And the liquid oxygen is kept at cryo temperatures, about negative 273 C, so it can be successful in its mission. So, been through the mission profile. We've been through their DEI video, to keep the YouTube censors happy. Now, let's go. This is their mission profile. Again, very heavily DEI. Yeah, this one's 41, so you'll have a pretty good view of it, especially if it's clear. So we'll watch through this video, and then we should be real close.
I really think that people want to live in nature. They want to be out in the mountains. They want to be where they play. This is Cleellum. It's kind of a little hole.
And as soon as we come out of the hold, I'm going to cut
why a lot
this
of people
video
move over
feed.
here.
So
The assumptions that we didn't have money to afford internet was not the case at all.
People come out here enjoying all the outdoors, whether it be snowmobiling, mountain biking, off-roading.
Quite a few people move out to this area because it's gorgeous.
but people are reluctant to open small businesses due to the lack of reliable internet.
We've lived here for like almost 30 years in the little community that we're in is trying very hard to get just internet, but it's hard.
Like, there are 2 or 3 things I want to say at the beginning. This is a rare opportunity. You know, the impact that Project Kuiper has on the lives of people is really unprecedented at the scale.
About half the world's population lack connectivity or access to good connectivity, and we know what a difference that internet connectivity
I'm doing
can make
good,
in people's
Dazzer. How you
lives.
doing, buddy?
Access to shopping, access to healthcare, access to education.
You have to ask yourself, why aren't the rural areas connected? And the answer is very simple. It's not cost effective. It would have been done by now, but it isn't.
Project Kuiper is setting out to extend high-quality broadband internet access by implementing a constellation of satellites in low Earth orbit, 3,236 satellites.
The Kuiper constellation is ultimately going to serve a variety of customers. Residential broadband customers, small and medium businesses and enterprises. We need to be able to deliver connectivity all over the world in a very short period of time.
Even just right
Yeah,
here
you
in our
should.
backyard,
Send it to
right
me, I'll
outside
play it.
Redmond, there are areas where there is no internet connection or externally
With your
poor
permission,
connection.
of course.
And we can make a huge impact, like right away.
I've been a council member for 4 years. My family's 5 generations from Roslyn, Washington, and Clallam. We have one option for internet over here. It'd be great to see a different service come in to see if that would increase the availability, the reliability of it. There's no doubt that there's a hindrance of growth in our area due to lack of constant internet.
It's not a bad thing. It's just an alternative to Starlink.
So this is kind of the hub
same
of town. We have been
constellation
here
as
20
Starlink.
years. So if anyone's
Same
coming over
exact
I-90,
thing.
they're going to stop here, refuel, and they're going to check their messages. They're going to check their emails.
Downloading a movie so I can take it home and watch it.
Yeah, I'm shopping. So we have zero internet
Awesome.
right now.
That would be awesome. I
And when we
appreciate
do,
it.
it's 0.76 megabytes per second. And how much do we pay a month?
That's almost $80 a month for nothing.
0.76 megabytes per second.
Having a family cafe, people come to work and do their homework, but we can't have people here in the cafe zooming in calls and then somebody else trying to download a big file.
People across the planet are traveling from miles and miles away just so they can access internet. So then you pull back and you say, how do we get these folks connected? And the right technology to do that is satellites. Typically, big satellites go into the geostationary orbits at 36,000 kilometers.
The MEO satellites are anywhere between 2 and 35,000 kilometers off the surface of the Earth. Kuiper is operating down around 600 kilometers off the surface of the Earth.
If we were flying higher, then we can have fewer, but the latency would be higher.
Being able to go out and deliver access to the internet to people who don't have it today, you can't really imagine how this is going to.
The only reason why they're flying that low is because hang on. We'll go back to that. It's because SpaceX will wind up getting to their
go to
area.
pick up the count. 29 engineers and managers are polled for system status and readiness to
Okay,
proceed.
we'll listen to the go, no go poll.
This is the final status check for all Atlas vehicle systems, ground systems, spacecraft, and the U.S. Space Force Eastern Range.
The only thing
The
we get
vehicle
here,
system readiness
AP,
poll includes
is
electrical
Comcast.
systems,
That's it.
hydraulics,
That's it.
pneumatics, propulsion systems, flight control, and propellants. Let's listen in as Scott Barney performs the final polling.
So this is go, no go poll for systems of the rocket for
Status
the
check
final
will
launch.
proceed with terminal count. Atlas systems, propulsion, go. Hydraulics, go. Pneumatics, go. LO2,
Go.
water,
Go.
Centaur systems, propulsion, go. Pneumatics, go. LO2, go. LH2,
Go.
has gas, go. Electrical systems, airborne,
Go.
ground,
There you go.
go. Facility, go. RFFTS, go. Flight control, go. GCQ, go. Opsport, go. Com, go. Umbilicals,
Go.
DCS, go. Red line monitor, go. Quality,
Go.
Ops safety manager, go. ULA safety officer, go. Vehicle system engineer, go. Anomaly chief, go. Range coordinator, clear to proceed, Launch Director. You have permission to launch. Proceeding with the count.
Okay, so not going to pick up the count. No, we do not have Charter Spectrum. AT&T left out too. Verizon Fios is here, but Verizon Fios is it's provided by Comcast, so just makes more sense to just have Comcast. So we can have Comcast or Verizon serviced by
Polling
Comcast.
is complete and the launch team is go for launch. From T-minus 4 minutes until liftoff, you'll hear Scott Barney and the launch team performing the final steps in the countdown procedure. Several critical activities occur in the final minutes before launch, including verifying
Okay, so we're
fuel
back at a
tank
hold,
levels
so we'll
and
get back to
pressures.
this.
Going to better
I'll
people's
keep an eye
lives and
on
how
it.
it's going to better people around the world.
We often get our cell towers going down. A couple years ago, we did have an incident where I had to call 911 for myself. I kept passing out and I was extremely pregnant and my internet was not fast enough. So I had to wander around till I could find help, which ended up kind of being a scary situation.
Existing broadband providers and cellular providers, they can use Kuiper to be able to put a cellular tower in a place that's currently a dead zone, where right now they may not have any other option available to them. And we can go close those gaps in cellular service all over the globe.
My youngest was a junior in high school, and without having any internet access at home, he would sit in his car trying to get access. Businesses around here would offer their parking lot for kids to sit and do their classwork, and that was the only way he was able to graduate high school.
When COVID first hit, I was just struggling with leaving the kids outside in the cold. These are just great kids trying to do third grade math. So we turned our space that was once a bar into a speakeasy internet cafe.
The COVID pandemic, it reiterated to me why the work we are doing is so important.
Oh yeah,
A
if
kid
you have
in
Discord,
the middle
go
of the
for it there
continent,
too.
I really want them to have the same quality of internet access that my kids
yeah,
are enjoying at
it's
home.
terrible.
There really should be no difference. I feel really driven about it, if you can't tell.
To get the normal internet to download 5 upload, it's still $70 a month. And that is one of the big reasons why the
355.
All right, we got as much
Ground
of that
power
in as I could
enabled.
stand. And the hold has been lifted. We are back in terminal count. Yeah, AP, it's hella frustrating. They
Countdown
put in
clock
a
is
new
resumed,
neighborhood
and we are go
and
for
put a
launch
dedicated
at
line,
2:06
and everybody
PM
moved
Eastern.
out. So
With liftoff approaching, we're going to raise the volume on our launch team so you can hear the final preps taking place.
330. Atlas hydraulics at flight pressure.
So this one lights the engine, the mains, pretty early in the count, and actually lets them burn for a few seconds before it takes off. As you can see, the payload fairing has all kinds of branding on it. USA, USA. They also have the Atlas logo, ULA, and Amazon. Amazon packed their own payload fairing, which is
FCS internal.
they crafted their own payload fairing around their payload. So yeah, probably Sage. Damn, Jason. What's up, Greedy and KLI and Kitty? Yes, Amazon packed their own payload.
$159.
T-minus 159.
internal. 155. Launch sequencer start.
So it's on internal power. It's on
150.
internal.
Securing Centaur LH2.
Securing Centaur LO2.
So they're securing and pressurizing the LH2 and the LOX tanks on the upper
Launch
stage.
enabled. 137. FCS armed.
T-minus 90 seconds. The launch vehicle, payload,
Linda.
ground systems, and Eastern Range are go for launch. For those of you that just joined us, I'm Amanda Sterling, and I'm your host for today's live coverage of the Atlas V
This is a great
Project
time for you
Kuiper
to
Protoflight
introduce
launch.
yourself.
The team is not working any issues at this time, and we're on track for liftoff at 2:06 p.m. Eastern.
So it's now on internal power. They pressurized the tanks.
1 minute. Rock,
Everything
report, range status.
Range green.
It's a government contractor, so they do everything 17 times. And we just got a range go for launch, and then they also check range status at T-1, like they're going to cancel launch at T-1, but
step 3.
for a range violation that they didn't identify 3 minutes ago.
28. Verify ECS. Reduce for launch. Verify. Status check. Go
So
Atlas.
engine control systems.
Centaur. Go Kuiper.
And go Atlas.
T-minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We have ignition and liftoff of the United Launch Alliance Atlas V rocket, carrying the Protoflight mission for Amazon's Project Kuiper.
Oh, it says live. It looks like we're a little bit behind, but... So we got a good burn. So this vehicle was supposed to transfer to the BE-4s that Amazon was supposed to produce, but they still have not produced any. So they're still using those 180s, B-180s. To clarify, this is an Amazon payload for an Amazon satellite network.
Everything looks good.
They cannot launch it, and United Launch Alliance, which is Lockheed and Boeing, are launching it for them.
2.3 miles downrange.
Yeah, it seems like it's a little bit behind. ULA normally is about a 10-second delay. So we're supersonic.
Mach 1. Vehicle's now supersonic.
Yes, KLA.
Yes, max and pressure. Coming up on our first throttle segment.
Yeah, from ground it looked like we were somewhere in the neighborhood of 15 to 18 seconds behind, but...
What we're looking for is my closed loop guides. Operating normal.
So as that atmosphere starts thinning out, you can see that plume just getting bigger and bigger. So you're gonna get more fan on those flames.
Closed loop guidance is in. Everything's looking good.
Sharp right, you can barely see. Yeah, it's...
Coming up our next throttle phase, we'll be limiting the vehicle acceleration to 2.5 Gs for payload bearing jets.
So they're going to throttle back up, so they made it through max Q. And we see that plume.
Acceleration at 2.5 Gs, everything looking good. Inside of 2 minutes of VCO.
It's a big rocket. It goes really quite slow. So 3.5 minutes. So about a minute longer to get to technical space.
Everything looking good. Engine operating as expected. Smooth body rates.
Yeah, Scott, it's so cool to see it and then hear it later. You can tell the difference between...
Vehicles pass through the Kármán line. We have exited the Earth's atmosphere. Coming up on fairing jet. We've had fairing jettison and CLFR deck jettison. Everything looks good, nice and smooth. We are throttling up.
So that must have been a heavy payload, because as soon as they hit Kármán, they jettisoned.
And we are less than a quarter of our liftoff weight at this time.
And starting our 4G throttling, our
This
G limiting phase of the mission.
This absolutely is a
30
throwaway.
seconds to be
So none of this will be recovered. The main will drop into the ocean. The fairing will also drop into the ocean, and the second or Centaur stage will burn up in the Earth's atmosphere after delivering the payload. None of this rocket is
Blue
reusable.
space chill has been in progress. Engine temperatures are reducing as expected.
So now we're on that Centaur upper stage.
Pico, and we have cut off. Everything looks good.
Yes, only SpaceX lands.
Yeah, we
Well,
pre-start on fuel and locks. We have good staging, ignition, and full thrust. The Arlington is up and running normally.
some other companies are trying.
Seeing good steady state operating parameters. We've gone to fixed angles on the PU system. Seeing the expected response and operating parameters on the engine, making a lock control system. Temperatures are converging on bottle temp as expected. And we are now in the middle of a 10-minute, 12-second nominal burn of Centaur. We'll have a single burn to spacecraft separation.
This is Atlas Mission Control at T plus 5 minutes, 45 seconds. We just heard flight commentator Rob Gannon confirm the successful completion of the early phase of today's flight, and all systems continue to operate nominally. At this time, we'll end our live coverage. For more information on the Atlas V, visit ULA Launch.
All right, so successful launch. Again, so just so you can visualize, these boosters go into the ocean. These RD-180s go into the ocean. This main tank goes into the ocean. This interstage goes into the ocean. This giant payload fairing goes into the ocean. This little Centaur spacecraft burns up in the atmosphere, so they deorbit it. And this is the actual payload. So, much more wasteful than someone like SpaceX. It's amazing how much better SpaceX launches are than ULA. SpaceX is quicker, brighter, and you can see it for a lot longer with the naked eye. And on the coverage side, SpaceX does a considerably better job. In my opinion, providing with, the lay people with telemetry data, things like that. That was ULA's feed, so it's not like I was getting some 9th iteration of it where it was missing. That was directly from the United Launch Alliance, and they have nothing whatsoever. So it's just interesting to see the old crotchety defense contractors in comparison to the new hip SpaceX. But, ladies and gentlemen, yes, please. YouTube's being SO. If you could throw up a comment after the stream, it would be much appreciated. Oh, I missed Daisy Girl over here. North Carolina internet sucks too. Let's go. Beautiful. Our rocket meat man, smart AF. I get by. I know just a little bit. Just enough to sound intelligent. But I'm just some asshole on the internet.
Little rocket man.
SpaceX compared to ULA is like the tortoise and the hare, but in this case, the tortoise doesn't win. Correct. Yeah. And it's just that, it's that overbearing, that bloated defense contractor. It's just, I don't know, but yeah, good to have you, and no promises. But yes, oh, you already know, KLI. shit, I didn't bring it up yet, Stingy. I gotta process it and bring it in. Let me find it. Okay, I'm definitely gonna make that clip, but I'm not playing it on the way up. I appreciate it. All right, that's gonna be it for me today. There'll probably be a stream this evening. I don't know what's going on. I gotta talk to some people and figure out what we're doing. So, there'll be something tonight, but I don't know what. So, hope you guys have an awesome day, and I will talk to you soon. Enjoy your Friday. Take care.